I'm talking about iCarly for a second.
Yeah, a lot of what the Dan Snyder quite on set stuff happened. It happened on set of iCarly, especially with Jeanette McCurdy,
Oh
who
yeah,
was very uncomfortable doing a lot of this stuff.
yeah. She was.
Because I read up that Jeanette herself had had eating disorders too.
And of course she played a character that was an obsessive eater.
Yeah,
Because remember, you got yourself a personal chef. Well, my mom doesn't feed me.
yeah. I mean, the character of was it Sam? I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That character, the example that you guys are bringing up a separate example than but this show dealt with a lot of like sensitive topics on what was considered at the time kids programming, like kids stuff. I'm gonna be completely honest with you both. The example I was gonna bring up was when it dealt with like I wouldn't call it a joke, but I'd call it a serious topic that they kind of like made it into a joke. And they actually I don't know why this looking back, I'm like, how could this be like greenlit into a series, like almost like a series finale type of thing too, where Sam, the character of Sam on iCarly, who Jeanette McCurdy played, she again heavy topic, bear with us. She went into a mental. Do you guys remember this at all? A mental institution because she liked Freddie.
Oh
You guys
yes, I
remember this?
remember that episode.
Yeah. First off, and Bill and I have talked about
I,
mental health
I
awareness
think
once
I
before.
fell off the show by that point.
Oh well, I remember it clear as day, and I remember like a lot of people were very, very, very angry at the fact that this show like just it it didn't romanticize like suicide, but it romanticized and it kind of took to a greater extent too far of stuff like, oh, I'm crazy for liking you like that, or like that's just. I'm sorry, I'm just gonna say it the way it is. It's bullshit. And yes, I keep our show PG-13 for a reason, but I sometimes I like to go off. But this was an atrocity to actually bring that up into the show. Like, oh, because I like you, I have to be in a mental institution. First off, let me just say I'm going to say this as calmly as I can because I have a very, very, very sensitive tone for this topic and this example. But the fact that they played it off as like a joke in this show was just pathetic. Okay. I really am a firm believer that if look, I'm not one to shy away from this. I've known many people in my life about this, and I don't want to make this whole thing about like all this, you know, oh like you know, people with who have mental disabilities or just like or anything like that at all. What I'm going to say this, and I'm going to say this to everyone who listens to our podcast and all of you who listen out there who listen to us. I'm sure at least one person has one friend in the world that says, "I need help," and more in more ways than one. Go get it. We support you. We encourage you to go get help, but not for the reasons that this show provided. This
Yeah.
show, this example on this show of like, oh, I like Freddie. I should be in a mental institution. Are you freaking kidding me? Really? Like the fact that Dan Schneider, Schneider, whatever, he turned it into like a joke or like a running gag is beyond gobsmack stupid. Like generically speaking, just absolutely a stupid idea to do that. And this is coming from a I'm not going to shy away from it. I watched the show. I watched a lot of it when I was younger. It was on from to a 2000 hold on, it's like 2007 to 2012. Yeah, I watched a bunch of those shows. I watched a good chunk of it. Yeah. It's a part of my childhood, sure. But the very fact that I can clear as day remember this being like, oh, I like you, so I should be in a mental institution. Are you kidding me?
Well, we're also talking about the show that tried to make the issue of stalking funny.
Oh, it's not.
Oh,
It was,
absolutely.
and that's a very,
Like
very, very serious offense to some people too.
like I don't know if you guys remember this character, the alleged biggest fan
Oh, when they
who,
kidnapped them.
That guy, yeah.
yes,
That was a stalker.
kidnapped them for her birthday, and it's just
Horrendous.
I don't understand why they on a kid show, no less. It's just we're talking about a character who obviously needed help of some sort, and they just treat her like this, um, like a malicious villain. And listen, she what she did in the show was not right. It was absolutely wrong and all that, but it should be obvious to anyone with eyes that this person is someone who's not mentally well. It's not um it's not something that's meant to be like a sitcom plot, especially for a kid sitcom.
Yeah, we're like young 10-year-olds to 12-year-olds, maybe even 13, 14-year-olds to watch the show. I mean, I was like, I was younger when I saw it, but I was like, what the hell are they thinking? It's like
Yeah. And you
madness.
and you know what? I thought of another thing with iCarly.
What do you got?
There was an episode. There was a time that Sam and Freddie did get together,
Yeah, I remember that.
and if you watch the episode, Sam was just being a total abusive bitch
GF,
to him.
an abusive GF. Yeah, Tim, yeah.
And you know what? I just want to say this about abusive relationships. And listen, we see it happen to women, and I am not discrediting it. I am not discrediting it. I think, but it happens to guys as well,
Absolutely.
Yep.
because we always think of when we think of abusive relationships, we think of women. And listen,
Yeah.
I think that is awful. That is terrible. But
And they
men
get it. They get it just as much.
men get it too. And you know what? I think this episode is sending a message like, one, oh, if a woman abuses a man, that's fine. It's not.
Yeah, if anything, women on man abuse is even more stigmatized than man on woman abuse, because the whole idea that a man needs to be strong, and the gendered stereotypes.
You know,
It's
in the Hispanic world, they call it machismo.
right.
And it's not the case. I mean, most men I know, Bill, Justin, for an example, they are very, and I mean this in like the best way possible to both of you. You both are very kind. And I'm not just saying it because I do a podcast with them. I'm saying it because like
What are you
I
trying
know
to
them
say,
personally.
JT?
What's that?
What are you trying to say, JT?
We are not gay.
I wasn't even insinuating that, but okay.
Okay. But listen, and it's Pride Month. We all love each other, but not in that way. Sorry, bud. But no, in all seriousness, though, like Bill and Justin are some of the nicest, kindest guys that I know.
We appreciate that. And we say the
I
same for you.
Yeah.
Thank you. I genuinely mean that, and because it's funny actually. I will keep these people nameless, but I was friends with some people who were guys, and they all kind of said, "You get out of my life." To me, I'm not saying who these people are. They're in my personal life. I'm keeping a private profile here, but yeah, like at least have the balls to be like, show some guts, if you will. If you don't like me, just talk to my face. Don't gang up on me and be like, oh, blah, blah, stupid. We're getting sidetracked. Sorry. But
But
iCarly had a lot of moments like this.
no, but that episode is basically and it basically plays up it plays up Sam's abuse for laughs, and it's not funny.
It's really not.
It's not.
It's
It's
not
not.
funny.
I don't know why they would write that into a children's show screenplay to begin with. It just doesn't make sense. You know what I mean?
Also, the toilet humor in iCarly, I don't know if I'm the only one here that thinks that, but Dan Snyder seems to go like the extra mile when it comes to his toilet humor. And I don't know how I feel about it. I'll give you an example. Um, one of the first episodes of iCarly had the Spencer sign that was supposed to say, please go to iCarly.com. Instead, the sign malfunctions to say, pee on Carl. As a kid, pee-pee jokes. Sounds pretty funny, right? With an adult lens, and you have to be sure that Snyder knew what he was insinuating. Golden showers.
We're just going to say this. Dan Schneider is a. You know what? I'm not even going to censor myself for this. Dan Schneider is a fucking creep.
He is a creep.
And he belongs to be in a freaking jail cell for the rest of his life.
Well,
no, this person should not be
with
allowed in
Nickelodeon
polite
back in
society.
2018, and the network's a lot better for it, but
no, this man should not be allowed in polite society.
Oh.
Nope.
No.
Like, he should be in a jail cell for what he's done to some of these people.
It's scary.
Like,
We're
you
not
know
just
what? I'm going to say this, Justin. Dan Schneider is like the Harvey Weinstein of Nickelodeon.
That's a good way of putting it.
I wouldn't go that far.
And that's a bit of an extreme, but you're not wrong.
I wouldn't go that far, but he definitely was a creep. He definitely made his employees uncomfortable. He never physically assaulted anybody
that we know of.
And from what we understand, he was actually supportive of a cast member who did get assaulted. In fact, was the only one that gave him any support. Talking, of course, about the whole Brian Peck, Drake Bell situation.
Mm-hmm.
That's an incident that was just sickening to my stomach. It just made me seeing red for a bit. But back to Snyder. Another something else that he sort of was doing was on the new cast of all that back in the early 2000s. He definitely showed favorites when it comes to the cast, and they had relatively minor representation when it came to diversity. I think they had maybe one or two black cast members, and of course the black person always played the stereotypes. He played the crack dealer, played the angry cab driver, played this rapper called Lil Embryo. A rapper who was still in the womb.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah, it was terrible.
That was just, even back when I was a kid, I was like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah. See, we're more mature than we were more mature than Dan Schneider ever was. If you think of it like that for a second, yeah.
Yeah.
So big. I mean, we get. I mean, I don't want to spend too much time on this, but like we could easily go off on I'm sure we have more Dan Schneider examples too. But like I wanted to just kick us off with this. I mean, forgive us. Sorry to all of our podcasts, to you, the listener. But yeah, we're dealing with some heavy stuff tonight because adult jokes in children's TV shows and programming, bit of a hefty topic. So.